Welcome back to Twist of Fate, a small business podcast where you can find your inspiration to make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. This episode is dedicated to one of my favorite topics, video games. Today, we're here also to talk about an important topic to any parents, any child, and any educator, which is math. So this is our love letter to you mathematicians or math athletes out there. We got a great guest for you. Today, we have Dennis Huang, who is representing his development team, ArcFi, in creating a new indie game called Times Trials. Dennis, my friend, welcome to Twist of Fate.
Thank you, Doug. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So, indie games, I am a huge fan of Yacht Club games, Shovel Knight.
Oh, yeah.
The Castlevania games, and so many. But I think it's really interesting that you're developing a game that's for learning and entertainment at the same time.
Yeah, Times Trials is kind of a hybrid between two genres. One is the puzzle game genre, and the other is math. They will be doing multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, all of that. But at the same time, they'll be having fun.
Awesome. And by puzzle games, I mean, maybe I'm carbon dating both of us, but this is like a 2D Tetris style game, correct?
Yeah, Tetris style. Specifically, Street Fighter, Puzzle Fighter, and Puyo Puyo for those puzzle geeks out there.
And those are games you played, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's one thing to be a gamer and a player or a tester. And it's another thing to say you want to make games. So how did that all happen?
There's such a creative aspect to making games that I might not get out of my day job. So the marriage between engineering and being able to think about art, music, game design, that's a blessing. Specifically for Times Trials, though, my brother one day just came up to me and said, "Remember that game we used to play as kids? We used to play this game. It was kind of like 24 with a playing deck of cards."
The card-based game, yeah.
Card-based game. And he was like, "Well, why not make that into a video game?" And I thought to myself, wow, that's a good idea. So here we are. So it's my brother and I, both of us trying to make this thing. It's a love letter to all the puzzle games, but also the math games that we used to play as kids.
Now, I got to tell you, Dennis, you and your brother are pretty smart guys because, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. But you guys were playing education-based games as children, and that inspired you to make an educational-based game for children now.
Absolutely, yeah. We used to play that. Our parents also bought educational video games for us because they don't want to see us be playing violent video games as kids, although we did do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on now. I'm sure you were playing GTA and other stuff too.
It was Doom, it was Quake, Wolfenstein, all those old school games back in the day.
Now you're coming out. Now you're talking about, okay, fantastic. No StarCraft though, right?
We did StarCraft 2, as well, not StarCraft 2.
No, I understand. Okay, so going back to this experience you're creating for kids. So my understanding is Times Trials is predominantly for those that, like you mentioned, are learning the core math principles, and this is a way they can practice. Now, that would mean children that are in elementary school or middle school, correct?
That's right. It's geared towards fourth grade and up because if they want to do division, that's generally when fourth graders will start. Mm-hmm. So, but there's addition, so it can be for anybody.
And then in terms of the gameplay experience or the gameplay loop that they would go through, the idea is they're going to pick a player, right?
Yeah, we got a few characters. The story behind the game is there's a bunch of characters. They're competing to be the class president. And how they do that is by duking it out math style. So far there's 2 characters. We plan to have many more, but we've got a girl and a guy because math is for everybody.
Amen, brother.
So far, these 2, they got their own thing. One's a debate club person, one's a baseball player. And so now they're competing to be the best and for that touted position of class president. So you pick one of these characters and you start dropping blocks, Tetris style, to do arithmetic, say addition or multiplication and so forth.
Now, so I've actually demoed your game on your website, and one of the things that's it's nostalgic for me is that the two characters you're talking about, they have this 2D anime styled visualization or characterization that there nods to me of like I'm a Atlas Persona guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like 80s anime, I'm carbon dating myself, like Ninja Scroll, Fist of the North Star, Vampire Hunter D. So it brought out those memories to me, just even in the character select screen. So as a parent, you kind of got that nostalgic feeling out of me.
Yeah, actually, I think now these days anime is appealing to everybody because we got the parents who grew up from that age, but now anime is so amazing these days that it's appealing to the kids of this new generation too. So I figured
culture impact, right?
Exactly, and I think anime is just that thing that's here forever. So that's why it's in my game too. It's for everybody.
and it wasn't just the characters' themes that you kind of nod to that. Even your musical score, I believe you had some assistance from someone in Japan to help develop, right?
That's right. That one's kind of a personal thing for me because I used to play the games that he made music for. For me specifically, it was Sword of the New World. Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a Korean MMO by IMC Games.
Massively multiplayer online game.
That's right. Specifically.
See, I'm with it. Hey, come on. I hope my fans aren't making fun of me now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So many people online playing this game, and I love the music of that game. So one day I just reached out to him, hey, Osamu.
And he responded?
He responded, yeah.
No, I was a big Final Fantasy player.
Yeah, same genre. Yeah, role-playing games. So
that composer is special to me too. For sure.
Oh yeah, it would be a dream one day to get those composers in my games too.
One day, one bit at a time.
One bit at a time. Yeah.
So back to the gameplay loop. There is a competitive or multiplayer aspect if they want to, correct?
Exactly, just like Tetris. There's a head-to-head mode where if you do math fast enough and you set up all the combos just correctly, then you can you can attack your opponent.
No, my kids are all about that. I'll tell you one thing that I think is uniquely special about that. It's not just that the kids can challenge each other. This is now the kids' chance to challenge their dad.
Absolutely.
The teacher, right? Like,
absolutely.
This is empowering, and I think it could be confidence building for some of them too.
And I love it. I've tested it with my neighbors. They've got a bunch of kids who are super competitive. They want to beat their parents.
See, I knew it. Oh man, hey parents, you better brush up on that math. Listen to this. So it's not just that your kid might be struggling with math. Maybe they're good at math, but more practice always helps. Or this could help them help a younger sibling or something like this. So in your view, like what do you think are all the advantages that a parent would have in playing times trials?
One of them is, it's a parent playing with their kid. You don't get that much in these days with video games especially. Mm-hmm. And the genre, especially with my parents growing up, they didn't feel comfortable with the violence. They didn't feel comfortable even like playing a game with their kid because they weren't with it. They didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. But something as simple as like Tetris, which by now everybody knows, and something as simple as math, which parents know. So I think it's a very good gate for everybody to come together and play together.
I agree with that. And, some of my listeners are also educators as well. And there's could be, obviously, if you're, teaching in a preschool or after school care or, grade school or elementary school, like to get kids to like math is a good thing because you can avoid anxiety about math later on. So, it's really kudos on you for even opening up the door to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should say esports in the education world is starting to take off. So I want to be there. So to have a little bit of a competitive aspect for math, I know it's not for everybody, but I know it is for many kids. So to appeal to that, I think is a new market opportunity for educational games.
Fantastic. Now, where are you at with the development of the game?
Right. So I consider myself to be an alpha because I've tested it with a select few people and they've given me feedback. So that's stuff that I can work on to progress the game. Usually there in game development, there's an alpha and then there's a beta after that. And the beta is when you open it to more people, to the public, and they play your game and they give you feedback as well. And that's the final tweaks, the finishing touches before finally releasing it to stores such as Steam and actually selling the game.
But you already have a Steam page, correct?
Yeah, you can look it up on Steam, Times Trials. Right now it's just a TBD release date, but absolutely please wishlist it for those who are interested in playing a math game.
And can they access the demo from the Steam page, or do they have to go to...
For now, the demo is at another site. So the demo will be at timestrials.com/demo. That's times with an S and trials with an S.com/demo.
What's this Times Trials thing? What's the story behind the name?
Yeah, I was very deliberate with this because when I first made the game, when I first started developing the game, I only had multiplication in it. And it was just there to memorize the times tables, basically. And I was thinking, whoa, times tables. Well, you're playing a puzzle game, so this is a times trial, so you're doing multiplication. Yeah, but yeah, and that's this is pretty silly pun there.
Yeah, no, all intended, for sure.
Yep.
So then, here's what's really inspirational. You've also been going to different learning and ed tech like trade shows or education trade shows, because it's not just about the entertainment experience to you. Like, you actually want to improve math skill and have this being a learning tool, like accredited, proven learning tool. So what type of learning shows have you gone to?
Yeah, there's a big one, Games for Change. They do a lot of things in addition to education, but there's so many educators, there's so many ed tech people there that have gone through their journeys and been into schools. So it's just a blessing to meet those people and to pick their brains and see what they feel about the whole market as a whole.
So you've had some of them demo the game. Like, what's the type of feedback that you're starting to get based off of your alpha build?
Oh yeah, it's been pretty positive, and I'm so happy because they mentioned the same thing that I'm trying to do, which is, well, I don't want a math equation just blatantly written out on the screen for people to solve. Like, I want it a little bit more subtle. So to rearrange blocks in real time without saying like an equal sign is, I think, would be pretty powerful. And thankfully, these educators have noticed that as well.
Twist of Fate will be right back.
Trying to do everything yourself? How's that going for you? 3 Steps Forward is a full-service marketing agency that takes the weight off entrepreneurs and helps them follow through on their ideas. Step up your personal brand, boost your web presence, and elevate your business with our team of marketing experts. Are you ready to reinvent your business? Schedule a consultation today. Visit our website at 3stepsforward.com.
Welcome back to Twist of Fate. You know, one thing I have to commend you, Dennis, is that you're playtesting, developing, coordinating, but at the same time, you're a software developer, like in your professional life. Like, this is I think this is an interesting discussion because many of my listeners, they want to be entrepreneurs, but they have day jobs.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, breaking the fourth wall to them, like, it's perfectly okay to pursue your next thing while you have a day job. In fact, that may be a safe thing to do because, you know, you can subsidize your life still and in your free time work on game development. So you've been able to juggle many things, right?
I've been able to do that so far, yes. And I would say this is the traditional wisdom, like, don't quit your day job, basically. And that applies for so many things, not just like your hobby, but also, you know, like music career, art career, and so forth. And I consider game development to be a sort of an art. So
it's a passion of yours, right?
It's a passion, absolutely. And so I've been following that And I'm actually going to throw a curveball here and say it's not all positive to follow this advice, because now you got your time to balance. Okay, so like pick two. You can pick like your hobbies, your profession, and then your social life. And if you're married with kids, that's another can of worms. So
I'm experiencing all that right now.
exactly. So I would say, time is also a thing. So if you can afford it, then going full time into indie development or full time into your passion isn't a terrible thing either. But you got to pick what is your priority. And for me, being able to keep my day job and sustain myself while working on the passion has been good for me.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the future that you're working towards in development, like you're also looking to probably fundraise too, because it's going to take. I say this all the time in this show that nothing happens unless you get working capital. So what's your plans on that front?
Yeah, so I'm working with 3 Steps Forward to get a Kickstarter going. I'm blessed with a super team, so I'm not worried at all. But we're attacking this at many angles. So with the Kickstarter going on, we got maybe grants, we got VCs, so
maybe some accelerators.
So I'm not worried. Something's going to happen, and yeah, it'll be a blessing to be able to do this full time once we have the funding and go full steam ahead with this passion project.
And is there a particular video game industry show that like it would be a dream come true for you to like release the game there and like launch party and all that stuff? Like what does the perfect success look like to you?
Oh man, if I can get a booth at PAX, that would be great.
PAX West?
PAX West, yeah. I'm in the West Coast, so I got to rep my side.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm really hoping, wishing you success at that. Now, if we're thinking about some of the problems that your game can solve, like let's say like bigger picture. To me, I know that I have many friends in my generation that have math anxiety. I didn't have that because my dad was a financial planner, so trust me, like speed and math. Look, if my kids bring that competitive stuff to me, they're going to regret it. But what are the rural higher order problems or the things that this game is starting to kind of touch on?
Well, we've got many things going on here. So because of COVID, for example, remote learning has been a thing. It's been kind of challenging to be in person. So a nice video game, kind of like Times Trials, where you can play it on the comfort of your own room, of your own home, that's going to be huge. This can be widely distributed for so many people that can't have access to a school. So that in itself, I believe, will make waves. But also for the math anxiety piece, I've got all bases covered. So I've got the multiplayer. If you love math, you can compete with somebody, and that'll inspire you to learn and study on your own to try to beat your friends or your family. But if you're not into that, I got a single player mode, so you can just work on that on your own time. If you fail at a level, there's no pressure. You can just try again. There's nothing really. Nobody's judging, so I got everyone covered.
Yeah, that's great. And being inclusive and accessible to all, like kudos to you, my friend. Like that's the way you should be. So is there any particular thing you want to see before, let's say, you start getting into beta and going gold? Like what is a measure of success in your view of the game? Like what is the feedback that you want to hear from children or from parents?
From children mostly, because, well, I mean, that's what my game is for. And if children aren't having fun, then there's no point to it. So it's kind of a subjective measure, but how many kids are having fun, first and foremost? And then second, if we could see scores improve, math scores improve, if they're feeling more confident in math, that would be huge. And so my dream is to see this in, homes, schools around in California, and just people playing that and having fun. That's a dream come true.
And that's interesting because math and fun, for some people, those aren't correlated. Like if you can hit that bar, right? That like you have to think that their life will be better, right?
Math is fun. And it's everywhere.
As long as the numbers work in your favor. Remember, this is Twist of Fate, a business podcast. So to some of my listeners that are potential game developers, game development can be hard too.
Oh, yes.
There's challenges and pitfalls. Is there any suggestions that you've learned or things you've seen that you would want them to know?
There's so many things to think about. So it's not just coding, although that's where I started. Biggest thing is prototype as fast as you can and fail fast. Because you never know what ideas may come out of it, and you never know what ideas might not work out of it.
Twist of Fate will be right back.
Have you had trouble getting your child to learn math? Have they struggled with basic equations or been frustrated by the pace of lesson plans in school? The best way to learn math is by doing math. Times Trials is a block-dropping puzzle game that encourages kids to step out of the basic equation format and into another dimension. The goal is simple. Arrange the falling number blocks to form rows or columns that equal the target number. As the blocks keep falling, players need lightning-quick thinking to make it through. Times Trials targets each student's skill level for an ideal learning experience that feels like play. Kids can't get enough of this habit-forming game, which exercises problem-solving abilities without the pressure of structured lessons. Times Trials offers an innovative, competitive spin on educational gaming. We keep math anxiety at bay by avoiding intimidating equations on screen, and our competitive modes give kids and adults a fun way to bond over practicing math skills. With Times Trials, kids can build math fluency without it ever feeling like homework.
Welcome back to Twist of Fate.
Prototype as fast as you can and fail fast. Because you never know what ideas may come out of it, and you never know what ideas might not work out of it. So just go quickly, at least in the beginning, test it quickly, see if people enjoy it, and then that's how you know to go for it.
That's fantastic. I'm expecting great things from you, Dennis. Now, and my assumption is the sky's the limit in the future. Like, once Times Trials is done and a success, maybe you may start developing some other games. So,
Absolutely.
Is there something else you and your brother were doing that maybe you haven't revealed yet that is an idea for a future game?
Oh, we have tons of ideas. And some of them, yeah, I'll keep them secret.
Oh, yeah. No themes or any particular, like...
Well, my brother and I were big on the education games, so there's more education games coming up. But other than that, I'll keep silent.
Listen, let me tell you one thing. If you make a game that's related to Monopoly, you can count on my participation as a game player. But I'm going to tell you up front, I'm going to take your money. I'll take anybody's money that's a listener, because in Monopoly, I am king.
My brother always beat me at Monopoly. I'm still bitter about it today. I don't know if that's in the works.
That's good to know. I'm going to note that, because the next time he's over here, I may be bringing out some late night Monopoly.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see you and my brother. And if you beat him, I'll be rooting for you, because I'll be like, yeah, sweet.
Payback, right?
Yeah,
payback, the big payback. Okay. With that, I'm going to transition to my final thoughts here. Math is a very important ingredient to any leader, to any entrepreneur, any founder. And why not make the world better by preparing the next generation in a better way than you? If they can practice math, then for sure, I know they can comprehend concepts like Experian, TransUnion, Equifax for their credit score. They can manage, hopefully, their personal financials and become financially literate, all with that foundation in math. What you see here with Dennis, he's working on Times Trials to help the next generation do well. And for that, you know, as a parent, and as my parent listeners are here, right? Like, here's an entrepreneur that's making the world a better place. With that, Dennis, I really appreciate you joining us today. And if you like this content, share, subscribe, like it, even go in the chat and make a comment. You know, we really need the Twist of Fate community to help us really advance this platform and build our entrepreneurial ecosystem. You can also sponsor any topics that are interested you. Maybe there's some video game players. You want to see more episodes? We're living in Silicon Valley. There's lots of developers. We can talk with people. If you have a small business that you'd like to advertise, you're welcome to do so on our platform. With that, take care of yourselves, practice your math, and most especially get ready for Monopoly if I meet you. I'll see you on the next Twist of Fate.
Twist of Fate is hosted by Doug Younger. It's produced by John Lundvid and Matthew Brown at Ezo Creative. Moni Yu designs our graphics. Our theme music is by Jamie Bathgate. Special thanks to all of our patrons. You can support the show by visiting patreon.com/twistoffate podcast. Thanks for listening.